Um, need a refresh. Is it not seeing that I'm live? I'm alive? I'm live with the jive, my guy. Let me see. Okay, there we go. Yay! Alright, let me edit this. Get into the Gorge. And then I need to Ayapadi. Bo needs to cut his fingernails. Jeez. What's in your mind? More dying day. Okay. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. All right. I just finished eating. Okay, where am I? Yay! We're here, we're there, we're everywhere. Hello! I should probably introduce myself. I've been just sitting here making weird mouth noises, which is pretty much all that I do. Well, making weird mouth noises to myself. Hello! My name is 10K Hours, putting in the time so my art is no longer a crime. Today we are back at it like a good habit. Cleo got Lumina playing Europa Universalis. Aw, shucks. Aw, ding dang, but goody. Okay, hold on. Can I hear? Music might be a little low. That could just be because my voice is really loud. One of those is true. Could honestly, it could be both. All right, today we're doing line art. We just are. I think I finished up everything. I want to change this to the original text that I had. Hold on. And that's your problem now. No. And then make it teeny tiny. Tasmo bigger. Okay, actually, if I'm gonna make it bigger, I actually have to make the actual text bigger, it seems. That's good for me. There we go. All right. All good then, and that's your problem now. Perfect. That's what I named these comics anyway, so I might as well keep that. Okay. I'm gonna start with the first one. I kept having the number of panels that were on a page. This one starts with 4, and then 2, and then 1. Oh yeah, I think, did I do this at the end of the last time? I want her mouth to be open even wider. It needs to be like a, oh, boy, Calliope. This is still my favorite one that I've Whoa. Hello. Why because... Yeah, okay. Now it's time to just do a little bit of line art, because these lines kind of suck, and I just want to just real quick go over them and make them look real snazzy. We're gonna come up. Let's see here. I'm actually gonna make a folder. And I'm gonna put all of these in the folder so I can just make all of these. I can just decrease the opacity on all of these at the same time. Perfect. That'll make my life so much easier. Look at that. Ain't that just something? Alright. And that gives me something to work with. And then above this one, we're gonna do one more. I don't want a folder. Nope. Up here, down here, there we go. Okay. And we're just gonna do some line art. Go over this real quick. Button everything up. And not have any weird like erase lines like I had over here. This does not have to be perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I just want it to look a little bit better, a little bit cleaner. That's all I really want. I think what's happened in between today and the last time I streamed, it was on Monday. Had 3 very uneventful days of work. It is July now, y'all. The year is officially half over. That sucks, honestly. Although there's something I want to do by the end of this year. We'll see, and a ton more just like random VTubers announce their graduation. What is it with the 19th of this month? Actually, what day is the 19th? My phone does not recognize me with headphones on. That's good to know. I know it's definitely done that before. What day is the 19th? Is that a Friday? It's a Saturday. Well, I guess that's probably just like a good day. I don't know. But there's a ton of VTubers. Actually, there's a ton of VTubers, both men and women, that are graduating on the 19th of this month. It's really odd. There just must be a bunch of corpos that hired a bunch of indies, and they all slated them to come out doing like the same quarter or something, probably third or fourth quarter. So I guess that means I gotta graduate now. I don't know, it's kind of crazy. I do wonder if Holo's got a new gen. Especially in the EN sphere. Although Callie says she doesn't know anything about that. But she just genuinely might not know at this point. And usually it's about like 6 months. But I think everyone's gotten wise from the last time when a whole bunch of people graduated. at around the same time. And this time, there's a bunch of people who are just straight up saying like, "Hey, I got an opportunity and I'm taking it," which I think is good. There's some places that they need to be a little bit more coy with like, just keep a weather eye out and maybe you'll see me. This isn't goodbye and we'll see you together. We'll see you again. Yada yada yada, things like that. But there's something just straight up saying like, "Hey, I got into a corpo and I'm taking it." What is it? That one named Midas, who I've seen. Shorts for every once in a while said that. And Neander's did say that she also got an opportunity of a lifetime. Who knows what that is? I do genuinely hope it's hollow for her, because I think anything else would be a step down. Oh, hold on. I need to change something. Got just some slightly weird proportions here. Arms need to be wider than the rest of the body. There we go. I'm not going to worry too much about fingers. The whole purpose of this line art is just to clean up these lines and fix some small mistakes like that. Anything else, we're not too worried about. I just want this to be quick and dirty. I've already spent a lot of time on it, but at the same time, I'm not the kind of person who can just churn these out quickly yet. So, that's fine. Oh wait, no, I did that on purpose. Okay. See what else is going on. Oh yeah. We're probably going to start hearing some fireworks here soon. Like I said, fireworks are legal where I am, so that's going to be... That's going to be interesting. And I'm going to color these in after this. Just to kind of practice. And I want the whole part of this process to be kind of quick and dirty, so... We'll just have it be quick and dirty, even on the coloring. What else? Oh yeah, I was watching Saba before this. He's playing RE4 Remake. And I never watched her play any horror games before. In fact, I barely watched her do anything before. Actually, I might have watched her play a horror game or two. I watched her play Repo most recently. I don't know. But let's see. I started watching Hololive around when Palworld was the new hotness. So I got to see her do a couple streams in that. And then I would try to catch her whenever she came on, but it was so rare at that point. that it was almost never. I genuinely think that she would have left a while ago, but she was just waiting for Ashigan to be done. That was going to be her. She wanted that to be her send-off. But with the animation and the music and all of that, it just took a while. Like you said, it took about a year and a half, 2 years, so yeah. It does seem happier though, which is nice. I think she's nice to just... I think she just needed to take things at her own pace. I think that's just something that, especially the first two generations of like EN weren't quite prepared for, was what Hololive would ask of them, or like all that was entailed in that. But I feel like from Advent onwards, they came in expecting that, so it's going to be very different from them. Very different. Oh yeah, and they're getting Nendroids now. That's good for them. Although, they've announced Nendos for Promise and I think Myth. I don't even know if they're out yet, but I know that they were announced. I remember it because there was a mock-up for Mumei's Nendo, and a bunch of people wanted it, but now they have no idea if they can be able to get it because he's gone. Now, normally I would think that, yeah, that ship might be sailed because I don't think the company has the right to use her likeness anymore. However, apparently if it's something that's already been inked, they do, because that Rift of the Necrodancer game came out and it has Gura in it. And that came out after she graduated, so that tells me that the contract was inked. Contract was inked and everything was ready to go, so they were fine to use it. Oh yeah, well, haven't I seen any of... Who's all in that? Iris? I think maybe Iris played it, but I really haven't seen anyone else playing that game. Even though there's like an official collab with Hololive. Which is kind of weird. Although it could be like they only paid him for likeness and not necessarily for promotion. That's a possibility. Or only certain promotions. Like maybe shoutouts on Twitter and things like that. So that's a possibility. They didn't pay for any of the talents to actually support themselves, although I think Iris might have, because she was actually in the game. So, let's see, it was Iris, Gura, I don't remember all the people. Oh yeah, and speaking of Advent getting Nendos, Mint seems to just be slowly acquiring Advent members. I know she was previously friends with Fuamoko. And I think they've kind of been in the same circles for a while, if that makes sense. So I think she's known them for quite some time. And so I know she knows them. She hung out with Bibu the last time she was in Japan, and this time she hung out with Narissa. The only person in Appen she hasn't hung out with is Shiori. Slowly gathering them all. Of course, it's kind of hard because they don't live anywhere near each other. I think Mint's in East Coast, and I know she is in... Yeah, I think Mint's in EST whenever she's home. And she always CST. But she's definitely the most, like, actually, like, Midwestern. Narissa's definitely from, like, Minnesota, Wisconsin, someplace like that, especially with her accent. Maybe even Michigan. Yeah, northern Midwest. Or actually Midwest. I don't know where, but I'm just going off of accents, but... She's in CST and doesn't have the same oops that a Narissa has. Well, pretty similar to my accent, honestly. Although I'm kind of a weird mixture. I've lived all over the place, so... But it's all been like Midwestern places, except for a few places in the South. So that's why I picked up saying y'all and whatnot. So we are where we live. You know, you hear the booms outside. They're starting. Especially since most people have tomorrow off. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of people drinking and shooting some stuff off tonight. And then tomorrow's going to be crazy. I'm going to be with family all day tomorrow. So, and I forgot. Cece, Cece, German that she is, absolutely decided to schedule her her 1-year anniversary stream at 4 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow for me. 4 o'clock in the afternoon on 4th of July. I might be able to catch like the first half hour or so before my family will want to meet. We'll see, because I'm sure we're probably going to go swimming. Oh, no. And then grill and do hot dogs, hamburgers, that whole 9 yards. But I think Cece had no idea or completely forgot that tomorrow was the 4th of July. No. Cece, why? Cece, why? I've been wanting to watch that. I really hope she has an Otomo plush. I really want that. I want that in the Grim plush real bad. I am waiting until I see all the stuff for... I don't know if Liz is gonna have particularly any merch that I want, but with all the tariffs and stuff, I don't want to order anything. I want to make sure I get everything in one big bundle. Especially since there's like a 90-day embargo on those. Or something like that. That was put in a while ago. I remember when I saw that, I like quickly went in and it was like, oh, whew. And I like, what is it? What did I order? Oh, I ordered Shiori's birthday merch. It went down from like, it was like $40 for shipping, and it went down to like 10. So it was a rather big change. A big necessary change. Goodness gracious. Well, we need to get this stuff ordered fast. I gotta get that, and then, Sheena's birthday is on Sunday. She's gonna have birthday merch too, and I think another plush. I think that's gonna be the end of it though. Oh wait, no, because at the end of this month there's going to be... At the end of this month there's going to be Advent 1 year merch too. Oh my goodness. July sucks. I had just saved up some money too. I had a refund. I got some stuff that I've been wanting to play from the Steam Summer Sale. What was it? I got Metaphor ReFantazio and a couple other games. I got Doom 2016, Doom Eternal, and Subnautica, which I all thought would be good like streaming games. But I was like, all in all, it came out to like $70. And after all this stuff and everything was said and done, I was like, I haven't downloaded these games yet. For the first time ever, I had to like refund some games because I was like, I just shouldn't have spent that money. I know it's a sale and whatnot, but I should not have spent that money. Because it's stuff that I can get later. Or a lot of the stuff that I am spending money on, I cannot get later. Or I can, but it's at exorbitant fees. And plus, at the beginning of August, there's going to be Hololive English concert, and I have to get streaming tickets for that for both days because it's different for both days. Can't believe they do that. Of course I can believe they do that. Why wouldn't they do that? Let's be honest. I would do that. VTuber stuff. I talk about, well, it is all. That's all I do, is my whole personality right now. But it kind of stinks because I can't share that personality with people outside of the internet because they would have no idea what I'm talking about. Or they would, and they would think I'm weird for it. And I have genuinely worried, like, oh god. I worry... Let's see, because I definitely have time, like, at work, in between calls and whatnot. At my work, they don't care if you're, like, listening to stuff or like on your phone as long as you're getting your work done. They truly don't care about that. In fact, a bunch of my bosses, you can see them like in their offices, like listening to stuff on their phones while they're doing their stuff too. I work in tech, so I think they know we're a bunch of ADHD people who work best when we just have a little bit of distraction, and they're right. So in between calls and whatnot, I'll like catch up on streams and things like that. I genuinely worry about some of the people sometimes. Like, oh god. I do worry about people seeing my phone and like seeing someone like Sapa on it, or especially like Henya back when I watched her a bunch. It's like, it's not weird, I swear. It isn't, but you can say that all you want, but when people's minds are made up, they're made up. So, yeah. But nothing's ever come from that before, so... Also, I'm really good at my job. Well, for the most part. I'm getting real... I'm starting to lose patience with customers. I work in... My brain isn't working. I work in a call center. Call-in tech support. Ooh, yay, so fun. But honestly, it is a great job, and I do like it. But I'm starting to feel the need to make a change. Especially since things are getting more and more expensive. But it's really hard to leave a place that has really good benefits. You are comfortable working there. You know the people. You know what to expect. And you don't take the work home with you at the end of the day. The management's great. They don't breathe down your neck. There's a lot of like really good things about the job. But at the same time, I think my days there are numbered. I'm not looking for anything right now. Well, I might put out a few applications of things and see where it goes. But yeah, problem is it's in the tech field, and I don't even have, like, I got my current job and I totally coasted after that. Like, I don't have any certifications for shit. I don't even have my A+ anymore. I let that expire. But that's pretty common. People usually just get that to get their foot in the door, and then they just never renew it. I guess I could if need be. I could renew it if need be. But not gonna move anywhere unless the money is right. Although it wouldn't be too hard to beat how much I currently. It wouldn't be too hard. I don't quite feel like I have the skills or certifications to be making like 100K a year, but I might be able to get 70K a year. Be nice. Could maybe afford a house or save up for a house. I'd probably pay off debt first though. Get your school, get as much stuff paid off as possible, and then put the money aside that you would have been using to pay off bills. Put that aside for a house. That's the dream. And hey, maybe I can afford to go out to something like Anime Expo or Offkai one year. That would be awesome. I was making enough to do stuff like that. Like when I first started my current job, and then the economy just took a nosedive out of nowhere. And I got screwed. That always happens. Like every time I start making more money, the economic situation around me completely changes. So it ends up just, I'm in the same old shit. I'm also there's stuff that I can be doing better with my money. Like just not buying merch. That really screwed me over this last month, if I'm gonna be honest. But even then, I'm very picky with what I do buy. Actually, what did I spend on merch this last month? I spent $40 on a Sheena plushie. It was like the Sheena bean. Oh yeah, and like $1.08 on a sad bee. That was actually, that's it. Like $41. And that's it. That's barely anything. How often do I get something? It's like once every couple months. This month is gonna be bad. Once all the Justice 1 year anniversary stuff is out. As well as like, and yeah, well that's what I spent last month. I should say July, and I didn't spend anything like before that. I only really get plushies. Zen, I will say, Zen did have a really cool sword. And I was super tempted to get it, but it was like $100 and some bucks. I was like, nah, I'm good. I can't believe she's leaving VShojo. I'm still talking about VTubers. Somehow we got back to that. I need more of a life, man. Sheesh. Although I will say, if it was not for VTubers, I don't think I would have seriously started drawing. It's the only thing that kind of ignites that passion anymore. Or, I say anymore, but it was a passion I always struggled with. So, but it's the number one thing that gets it going. And seeing other people like succeed and get their dreams makes me want to go after mine too. So I actually start up stream and start drawing, and I draw way better on stream than off stream. I just draw so much better on stream than off stream because I'm focused. Because instead of like just sitting there in silence or with like a stream on or something like that, and I get distracted or get on Twitter or something like that, I have to fucking get off Twitter. I really do. It's bad. It's so bad. I think I spent like 3 hours just scrolling through it yesterday. Like, getting nothing out of it. Like, I could have been playing the game. I could have been drawing on something that's a personal project that I don't want to work on stream. This is something for stream, but it's going to be a surprise. But I would like to have at least a very rough version of it done by the end of this month. And we can try it out for a bit and see how it goes. But it's gonna be a surprise. A surprise. And who knows, maybe we'll get some new eyes in here. But I got a long weekend, so I want to be working on that. Honestly, it's one of those things where it's a bit embarrassing, as it's a lot of me to kind of put out to the world, as all art is. Art is very emotionally attached. Well, anything creative is very attached to your emotions. So you can get kind of protective of it. And it can also be kind of embarrassing because it's a lot of you to put out there. That's the thing I struggle with most. Some people can embrace cringing the things. I cannot, because it makes me shut down and not want to do it. So I have to actively kill the part of me that wants to cringe. Because it actually stifles creativity in me. It keeps me from doing what I want to do. Not kill the cringe, kill the part of you that cringes. That's hard. Especially when you've used cringing as a defense mechanism, which I have. But it's keeping me from doing the things that I actually like. So it's gotta go. Pure and simple. And little things like this are good. This is something cringe. About VTubers after all. It was nothing but cringe, unfortunately. It's my cringe. I'll take it. I'll take it. If I could just make my cringe more entertaining, or figure out how in the world I get people to actually A, know about my streams, and B, want to come watch me. Oh, more explosions. Or stick around when they are watching me. Oh, really wish I could ask some of the people to just like pop in for 2 seconds, be like, hey, why didn't you stay? I don't care that you left. Just why didn't you stay? What are you looking for? Although I get a huge variety of answers like, I thought you would be better. I've had a couple people pop in and be like, hey, can you draw like this OC or something? And I'm like, no, I can't. Like, you came to the wrong place, buddy. I do appreciate the gumption. You know, actually commissioning an artist is expensive. So coming around to super tiny streamers, we're doing art and being like, hey, can you do this? And they're like, well, someone's asking me in chat. I might get a new follower out of it. Sure, why not? Remember I had one guy. What was it? It was like right after like Gear 5 Luffy had come out. And he was like, hey, can you do like Gear? He just like popped in. He's like, hey, can you draw Gear 5 Luffy in like a suit or something like that? And I was like, I'm sorry, bro, you came to the wrong stream. I don't know how to do that. And he was just like, oh, okay, sorry, and just kind of left. I was like, no, you can stay. Ah, well, whatever. Yeesh. I'm glad I figured out how to do gates and things like that, or noise gates and whatnot, before the 4th of July started. Goodness gracious. Oh, that reminds me. What was it? This is a couple years ago now. And but when I was driving home, I had to call the fire department on some of my neighbors who had set their grass on fire. It wasn't 4th of July, or else I would have been driving home much earlier, but it was after the Super Bowl. And I had some neighbors who apparently had bought some fireworks and had shot them off after it was over, and then promptly, probably because they were so drunk, went to bed because there was no lights on in their house. So, and this was middle of February, and there was no snow on the ground, but everything was still dead and dry. So, I think they had shot, or they probably shot it off and then thought like, oh, we'll just leave it outside. We're not going to get the hose out because it's going to freeze and all of that. So they were just like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Went on their way, went to bed. So I'm driving home, and all of a sudden I'm like, what's that light in that front yard? And it was right across the side of the street, and sure enough, right next to one of these like big like box fireworks, there's just a small fire that's slowly spreading. I'm like, oh no! So I grabbed my phone and I had to call the fire department and be like, hey, there is some grass that's on fire out in front of this house. It's spreading towards these bushes. Here's the address. Here's where it is. And they're like, okay, thanks. We'll send out a truck. And I was like, all right, thanks. All the while I'm driving. So I make it home, and then the next day I drive by and the house is still there. They don't have the bushes there anymore. So they lost those, but those people will never know that I saved their house from burning down that night. And I'll never be able to tell them because I genuinely don't remember which house it is. It's one of two. Actually, I think if I drove by, I'd be able to tell which one it is. But I'd have to actually be looking at them. I don't like this little, like, lump in the tongue. Let me get rid of that. There we go. Beautiful. And now for true beauty. My eyes are so dry. Blah, blah, blah. Alright, I think we can do the line art today, and then, depending on how long this takes, it's going pretty quick though. I might start on the coloring. Whistler. And some of my favorite fireworks are. Alright. So, I'm an uncle, and I swear this is relevant to what I just said, but and if I describe myself as what type of uncle I am the uncle that knows much more than the average person about fireworks. And it's only because I worked at a fireworks stand one summer, alright? But let's see. If you do live in a place where you can get fireworks and fireworks are legal, there's a couple things. One, you want to stay away from the ones that are just like a tube and you drop like a little shell down in there, and there's like you just have like a bunch of shells. And you just like drop down in one at a time and launch them off all out of the same tube. You want to avoid those. Those are some of the worst. They're some of the most bang for your buck, quite literally, and some of them are pretty good, but they're a lot of work for not a lot of payoff. With fireworks, you usually want the least amount of work for the most payoff. And so, like the little like 200 gram cakes and the 500 gram cakes are going to be where you want to go, as well as fountains, as well as a little novelty stuff. Let's see. Those things probably have the least bang and the most work involved, but they're some of the most fun. Because you can just like light it real quick, throw it out, and instead of having to like light it, like run back and like look up, it's just something that you can just like light, throw, and you appreciate it right away. Super quick. With that in mind, some of my favorite ones are these things called zips, which apparently... I don't know if I should mention that, but I learned something about that word that I probably shouldn't mention. But they're called zips. And they're these little things that they kind of look like firecrackers, but you light them, you throw them down, and they go vroom, and they fly up in the air. Hey, bird, how's it going? It's going good for me. I'm doing the line art today. We're getting this done. And yeah, oh my gosh. Getting this done and hoping that all the firework noises in the background aren't coming through. Let's see, how you doing? Got any plans for the 4th tomorrow? Not going out to family. My parents and I want to. Nope. Not going out to family. My parents and I don't want to. Okay. All right. Having a nice 4th. I understand. I'm spending it with family. My family's really close though, so it's not the same. Like my parents are a 10-minute drive away. I do have family that's lives like 15 hours away, but if anything, they come here because that's easier for them to do. Yeah. All my family lives on different sides of the state. Oh yeah, and it's funny, we're like in the middle. So I guess that makes your house the designated stop for Thanksgiving and Christmas then, huh? Yeah, but... Oh wait, hold on. I need these to be on a different layer. Hold on. I specifically need these to be on a different layer. Hold on a second. Luckily, I can just do this because they need to be at a lower opacity. Boop. Now they're on a different layer. Yeah. We do usually hold stuff here, but sometimes we go out to our other family. We only don't do 4th here because fireworks and it fucks up the driveway. Yeah. Yeah. Although we do fireworks, still fucks up our driveway, but everybody's driveways are fucked up. Let's see, I live in a place where fireworks are legal. So, oh man, driving around, especially driving home after like we're done with family stuff. It looks like a freaking war zone. It's so bad. And then the next day, you're like driving around and you see like these piles of like burnt out boxes everywhere. Well, we're getting it fixed. Oh, okay. You see like these like piles of like burnt out boxes and whatnot. It just looks like a whole bunch of like bad decisions were made by masses of people. It's so funny. Of course, to be sure, a bunch of people did make bad decisions. Because most people are drinking. I'm sure the hospitals are raring up for tomorrow. Always ends up people with like burns and like missing fingers and whatnot. Look, just have your one sober friend be the designated firework lighter. That's all you gotta do. You got designated drivers. Just give them the lighter too. It took 2 years for all the firework excess like cardboard stuff to disappear from the roof. There might still be some in the gutter. Very true. Let's see. We still got little kids, so we get a bunch of like those little novelty things. Like, have you ever seen those fireworks that just shoot off like a bunch of those like guys in parachutes? Those are some of our favorite ones to get because my little sister's boys, they love those because they fly up, it's a firework, and then pooh, there's a little guy and they can like run after them. I think they're literally called parachutes, but they're mostly good for kids, obviously. There still might be some parents and I kind of just stopped with it at our house because of that. Maybe I've seen similar, if not, yeah. They're pretty fun. They're good for kids because you shoot up in the air and then they run off after them, screaming and laughing. But yeah, anymore we don't get a ton ourselves. Like I spent like $20, and my dad spent like 100. And my brother-in-law, I think he spent maybe about like 60 or 80, which isn't a lot. But anymore, we'll get a few, and we'll shoot off like a few of our own. But we mostly get like the little novelty things for the kids. And then we have a few neighbors that just go all out. So we just kind of sit in our backyard and watch them. And that's what most people do, honestly. They just get their own fireworks and shoot it off. It's gotten to the point where cities will still put on fireworks shows, but they'll do it on different days besides the 4th because people aren't going to show up. But if it, like last Saturday, if you hold it like say the week before, most of the town will come out. Let's see. My family gets extra with the fireworks. Yeah. It's fun to do. It is expensive but fun. I worked at a fireworks store one year. And people would come in and spend a lot of money on fireworks. But one of the things that's very common to do is like entire neighborhoods will get together and they'll like pool their money to put on one show. And let's see. So people that come in and they'll spend like $1,000, $2,000. But then again, it's also like somewhere between 8 to 10 families that are chipping in at that point. Neighborhood show? I wish. Yeah. Especially around in the area I'm in, where it's kind of the more suburby area, like just outside of a bigger city. A lot of neighborhoods with a lot of neighborhoods, and it's very like, there's a couple neighborhoods around here that very much have like like the new age version of like, oh, during the summers we just let our children wander around everywhere. They don't really do that anymore. However, well, I think what's kind of replaced that is that like people who are friends, if they get married and have kids around the same time, they'll just move into houses next to each other and just have all of their kids be friends. I wish I made you watch fireworks from the neighbors, lol. So it counts. So if it counts, yeah, it counts. So they'll just move into houses near each other, and then and then they'll just have their kids grow up to each other and be friends. So let's see, where I used to live, there was this one set of houses that was like in a back row of this neighborhood, and it was nothing but families with kids around the same age. So all the kids were just friends. They all went to school to each other. So during the summer, it was just like, oh hey, they just headed outside and played with their friends who were literally right next door. And all the parents would just kind of go outside and just like, they would still be out and they would still be watching the kids, but they would just be like all hanging out together in a group themselves, while all the kids were just off and around playing in the street or in people's yards. And I say street, but it's not like it was next to a major road. It was next to like the very last street in a neighborhood. The only people who were going down that road were people who actually lived in that street, so there was like no cars. But I know what they would do is there was like a little dead end in the road, and they would just all pool their money, get like $1,000 worth of fireworks, shoot it all off, and then just put it in the trash the next day. And there's a bunch of neighborhoods that do that. There's another little cul-de-sac that's near where my parents live that do something similar. Except for they were smart, and they all bought the houses that were right next to the community pool. Oh my gosh. So, they have like a ton of kids, and then all their kids are friends and just hang out with each other. And then they're right next to like the community pool. So, they just all go over to that pool and hang out during the summer. Yeah. It's kind of like my dad talks about when he was a kid. During the summer days, he would literally his mom would pack him a lunch and like some water, and give it to him in the morning. Then he would get on his bike, he would ride down to a local like empty lot, and then all the boys in the area would do that. Like all the kids in the area. It was mostly the boys though. There was like boys from like one neighborhood would all come down, and the boys from my dad's neighborhood would all come up to it, and then they would just play football against each other all day. My dad's neighborhood versus this other neighborhood, and that's what they did like every day all summer. And it's kind of like, I guess it's kind of like the new version of that, but a little bit more localized, where they're not just going off and finding a random lot. So, people have talked about that being gone, and how it was back then is gone, but there's still pockets of that. Honestly, kind of wish I had something like that growing up. Well, I did. I was very close with the kids at my church. My parents were... Let's see, my dad especially was the associate pastor and all of that, so that was kind of our community. But they weren't just like right next door. But that was never too big of a deal. We hung out enough as it was during the summer. I'm going to bed, I'm tired. Well, good night, have a good stream. You too, and have a happy 4th of July. I will not be streaming tomorrow, because spending time with family, and then it's going to be too loud, frankly, outside. some more jazzy music. This music puts me in a contemplative mood. I should try that. There's some way where I could like measure like, hey, how does what music I'm listening to affect how I draw? I'm sure there's some way to measure that. I was a Pew researcher in a past life, because I always want to know stuff like that. But I never want to put in the time to actually figure it out. Alright, extremely random thought. But today, for whatever reason, while I was extremely bored at a very slow day at work, I think it's because of all the stuff with like Uma Musume that I've been seeing on like Twitter and whatnot. But that got me thinking about like, because they're like horse girls, but they're actually like representative of those actual horses. Oh wait, these are backwards. Hold on, I made a mess up. Like, that got me thinking about, like, of all things, a modern day Mr. Ed. And, like, what that story would be. So if you don't know, Mr. Ed is this really old, like, black and white show that was just about a horse that could talk. That's it. It was about a horse that could talk. Or that's really all that I know about it. So I got to thinking like, well, what would a modern day Mr. Ed be like? Would he? And I got to thinking like a horse that's as smart as a human? Like, it would try to be a racehorse, right? Because that would be a huge advantage. It would know how to like actually train. It wouldn't really need a jockey. You'd probably still have to have one for like regulation purposes. But it wouldn't really need a jockey. It would be able to like control itself, know when to use its stamina, and it's usually all on the jockey to be like, all right, it's time. We're in the final bend. Now I gotta really go. Go, 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 go. And so, that stuff's like usually on the jockey, but it really wouldn't be in this case. Like the horse would already know, like, okay, I can leave it all on the field from like this point onwards, and let's see, and even if they didn't have like the best build for it, they would still know how to race the best. So I think they would do pretty good. Don't ask me why, but I spent a lot of time thinking like, and then it, for some reason, in my brain, it turned into like a, all right, so you got a talking horse. You're using it to like win at horse racing, which has a lot of organized crime in it. Obviously, you're gonna want to stay away from that stuff, because those guys don't have any morals, and they'll try to stay away from it. Or they'll try to, if they see that you have a talking horse, they're going to try to take advantage of that and you. So you got to stay under the radar. And you got to stay out of their way. But you also got to not piss them off. So I spent most of the day imagining like, how would Mr. Ed stay out of the clutches of the mafia? up with is that they would play fair, or they wouldn't want anything to do with them, and they'd like try to stay out of their way, but at the same time, like, not get in their way as well. To be like, hey, you do your thing, we'll do ours, all the while trying to hide the fact that Ed can talk. But eventually they're going to take notice because he's winning a lot of races, and he's a freaking nobody horse. They're going to want in on that. And I thought of this whole situation in my head. Where the guy who's like the mafia leader is like talking, it's like saying something around Mr. Ed, not knowing that he can understand him, and being like, that guy comes back, I'm gonna give him what's for, and he's gonna sign this deal or what, and Ed just turns to him and says, no, we fucking aren't. We ain't doing shit. You're gonna get out of here, you see? And threatens him and says, like, and threaten him and says, like, if you try to go after him, I'll just kick you in the head and kill you right now. Just kick you in the head and kill you right the fuck now. And you know what? I'll get away with it too, because then I'll just reveal that I can talk and they won't kill me. And I'll just say that you were threatening us, and you were gonna kill us, and you got a history in organized crime and all this. They'll believe me. They'll believe me just because I'm a talking horse. But you know who won't believe you? Everybody you tell I'm a talking horse. This guy has to deal with the fact that a horse is talking to him. And he has to fucking do what the horse says. Because A, the horse is gonna kill him. The horse will get away with it. If this is real, what he's seeing. And no one's gonna believe him if he tries to tell people that he got threatened by this horse, because who's gonna believe a horse's talks? I was giggling to myself the whole day thinking about that. I don't know what in me decided to make, okay. I don't know what in me decided to turn Mr. Ed, which was an extremely family-friendly show back in, like, the 50s, into, like, Breaking Bad, but... honestly, it's kind of genius. It's kind of genius. I'm sure if you brought that to Hulu, they'd be like, this is crazy. Like, legitimately crazy. But we're gonna go with it. It'd have to have a main, like, another main character who's like a farm owner. It's gonna have to be a young, attractive guy, but who's just a little stupid. Just a little stupid. And means well, but stupid enough so that when it finally is exposed that the world that Ed can talk, they know it's not a hoax, because this farmer guy isn't smart enough to do that. At first I was like, what if he was just like a really smart horse but couldn't talk, and used like basically used like a computer with like TTS on it, on wheels, and he just kind of like had like a little like touchpad thing that he could pick up with his teeth and hit the letters. But I was like, no, it's way more interesting if he can talk, but he has to hide it. Although I think in real life that would shake the foundation of what we know. An animal that's actually as smart as a human. And it's not an ape or a dolphin or heck even an octopus. I swear, if octopus lived longer and were more communal, like, all the most intelligent species are, what is it? Eusocial species, that's a term for it. But species that form colonies, that learn from each other, and work together. Like, those are always the smartest species, except for octopus, which is why they're weird. Octopus are largely sedentary, or not sedentary, largely solitary. They don't really like others of their own kind too much, except for when it's like for mating purposes. But they're extremely smart. There's countless tales of, I've heard tales of, I don't know how true this is, but I heard tales of like a zookeeper who threw in some shrimp to one of the octopus, but like one of them was rotten, and like he didn't know this, but he went back to his desk and was like just doing some paperwork, filling something out. All of a sudden, one of the rotten shrimp just kind of and landed on his desk, and he turned around to see that the octopus had like somehow gotten out of its like aquarium and like I think even fully gotten out onto like the floor and had went over to the desk and had thrown this rotten shrimp on his desk so he could see it and see that he didn't want this, which is crazy. It's a highly intelligent thing to do. Being like, hey, what are you doing? This is rotten. Give me better food. Like A, recognizing where the food comes from. B, recognizing how to get their attention. And C, figuring out how to do all of that. Probably before that, but just not using it because they didn't really need to. Also, octopus only live like 2 to 3 years at most. And that's in the wild. It might live a little bit longer in captivity, but not much. What is it? That reminds me of Mibu and Callie's stream that they did. What was it? Bibu surprises me every once in a while. She comes across as so well, I thought she was super say-so. But I think I don't think she's a secret pervert. I just think that she knows a bunch of stuff. I think she just knows more than she lets on. I think she is wise to the ways of the world. To a certain extent. At least to the extent that is often seen on the internet, I will say that. I don't think she has a lot of experience with it herself, but... person who, let's see, I think she's definitely the youngest of Advent, that's for sure. Watch, she turns out to be the oldest. That would be a crazy reveal. But she has too much, way too much little sister energy. Way too much. And I know, let's see, I know Fuamoko. They love retro games and physical media a little bit too much to be Zoomers. Because that's definitely not a Zoomer thing. Especially when they talk about it being nostalgic. I'm like, yeah, no. Those are some 30 girlies. And Shiori? Shiori, I think, is in her late 20s. Narissa, I think, is probably in her early 30s. Mostly because she gives me the same vibes I have. But yeah. Bibu is definitely the youngest. Also has a little bit more energy than Alpha. That's for sure. Yeah, but Narissa's been gone for like months working on stuff. Very intermittent streams. Like her and Liz especially have been very busy working on stuff. Liz, obviously, for like the concert or whatnot. And well, honestly, probably a lot of what Narissa is working on is the fact that she's in like that world tour concert. That's probably most of it. But Liz, especially with .3D and concerts and stuff, she was working on stuff well before that and well before anybody else was. I wonder if she hasn't already recorded an album. I think she might have. Here we go, talking about VTubers again. I think she might have recorded an album because she's a singer. She is a singer. So I figured they would capitalize on that. But her streams have been kind of sparse for a while now. Like well before everybody else went over for their .3D stuff. So, I don't know. I don't know. She also hasn't done her 1 year anniversary stream yet. She's done other streams. She hasn't announced when she's gonna do it. I don't know if she's waiting for like to do that with her. I don't know if she's waiting to do that with her like .3D debut or whatnot. I'm not sure. But I know one way or the other. This isn't the best at communicating that stuff. There's one thing I think she needs to work on. It's communicating on Twitter and things like that with her fans. Like, hey, this is what I'm planning. At least with what she can communicate. Being like, oh, hey, for like the 1 year stuff, this is what I want to do. This is what I had planned. Like, CC was like, hey, we're definitely having something. Some stuff didn't get ready on time, so it needs to be moved back to a later date. Totally get that. I don't see stuff like that from Liz. She'll tweet like a little like heart and like a hug every day, but I want to know like, hey, what's going on with your 1 year? Huh? What's going on with that? do anything, it would be that. I think she needs to get a little bit more adventurous with the games that she plays. She loves to do karaoke, and those streams are incredible, but she's not much of a gamer. In fact, she might be one of the worst gamers in all. Her and Risa kind of go back and forth on that. Let's see. Although Liz definitely has Risa beat out because she likes to play FPS like Valorant and things like that. So, but Liz is just way worse at a lot of other things. Excuse me. So we shall see, we shall see, we shall see. Man, there's somebody who's just shooting off like a full fireworks show tonight. I wonder if that isn't like my local one. Because like I said, if you do it on the 4th, people aren't going to show up. Because they're going to be off doing their own things in their own communities or with their own families and shooting off their own fireworks, and they spent that money. You darn well better believe that they're going to use them. So I wonder if that's not my community fireworks that I'm hearing. That could be it. Doing them the day before would make sense. Especially since most people have tomorrow off. I know I do. Heck yeah. Nice 3-day weekend. We're taking Monday off. I had a 3-day work week. That is nice. That's another reason why I know I'm probably not long for my current job. Is I am starting to think about when's going to be the next time I have off. Rather just enjoying where I am. So yeah. Well, apparently it's pretty common for people my age. They work a job for maybe 2 or 3 years and then move on to something else. And anymore, it's kind of what you need to do. Because it's the only real way to get because it's the best way to make sure that you're getting like pay raises and things like that. Although I've never really worked at a job where I actually have to like negotiate for my pay raise. You definitely can't do that as a teacher. You definitely couldn't do that as a teacher. Because those were fixed, and those are fixed by the state. So, and the like district. So, you paid what their going rate was, and that was it. In my current job, like I get yearly pay raises. But that's how they do pay increases. So it's not like you have to go ask for it. Or even like promotions or things like that. I guess it's not traditional in that way. But it is government-ish. That's probably why. I also need to get this done so I can go back to playing Clair Obscur. Like, the end of Act 1 was crazy. I just finished it the last time I streamed it. And I got, what is his name? Tresor? Guy who's a tank? He takes over for what's his name? Gustav, yeah. There we go. Make the mouth a little bit more manic. Actually, I don't like the tongue. They all look bad. Oh my gosh. I still have 2 more pages. I might finish this up off stream. I'm gonna be so real. I thought about doing that today, but we shall see. Because I really just kind of want to get this done. This and another thing that I'm working on. Because there's something I want to be working on off stream. Right now, all my off stream stuff is being taken up by this. This madhouse. Although we'll go through and we'll get the... Well, I'll see how far I can get in like another hour or so. I started late because I made a quiche for dinner and I was waiting for it to cool. Because you can't eat that right out of the oven, that's for sure. You burn your tongue. Your little mouth tootsies. Referring to the tongue as a mouth tootsie is... We're never doing that again. Sorry about that. That was out of line. I'm sorry. That was out of line. I'm so sorry. Like these puffy sleeves. I draw a hand on this side, I did not. There's something very freeing about just leaving the hands as this. Just little nubs. Gosh, I need to learn how to draw hands for real though. I have some art that I want to do that will involve hands. So many hands. And by so many, I just mean a normal amount of hands. That's still so many hands. Oh yeah, and I was watching Gina do art yesterday. And watching her, not yesterday, it was the day before. Watching her crash out on her own art, I was like, I feel so seen right now. Wanting it to be perfect? Although she talked about not liking to do art on stream because she was worried how people would perceive it. And because I don't have the same thing, it's because I've always mostly done art on stream. So you guys seen the bad part of the process is it hasn't been a big deal because most of my processes have been bad. So what difference does that make to me? Let's see. Oh, the tail. Don't forget that. Cannot forget that. This is still my favorite Callie. I love it so much. Every time I see it, I laugh. Let's go down. Because my upstroke is not to my liking. I draw better going down, that's for sure. Okay, well, wasn't so bad there. Let's mix this up. And there was still fireworks going off outside. What the heck, guys? Of course, it's only 10. They'll be shooting them off until midnight or later. Tomorrow's the worst. It'll be 1, 2 a.m. before they finally stop. And then they will still shoot them off the next day. I genuinely have no idea how they have so many fireworks. Like, they must have just spent hundreds of dollars on fireworks. And they got too drunk on the 4th and didn't fire them all off. Which is astounding to me, because how could you not fire them all off when you were shooting them off until like 3 in the morning? Genuinely, how? Like, what the heck? What the heck, dude? Oh, I forgot. Gigi's other fam. Me! No. Yeah, did you know? Listen, Gigi's been known as the Fister for so long. Because of like their first collab and her saying that she was... What would her RPG class be with being a Fister? Rather than a monk. She's been known as the Fister for so long. I think people forget that her official designation is the Chaser. She was the one that like chased down the criminals and cornered them. Gigi the Fister Marin. By the way, it took me way too long to figure out it was supposed to be Gremlin. Gigi Marin, Gremlin. I genuinely didn't understand her name for way too long. I don't even know if I'm gonna finish this page anytime soon. Well, I think I'm almost done with this page. I need to... Oh my god. so excited for their 3D debuts. I think Liz is gonna have... Let's see, Liz's is first. So she won't be able to have any of the other girls in hers. So... Let's see, she's closest with Nerissa, so I think Nerissa's gonna make a... I think Nerissa's definitely gonna be in it. Oh... It reminds me of last year. I felt bad for Shiori still, because... And I think she noticed this, because she had all the other members of Advent in her 3D debut, but only as like disembodied voices. And I think she realized like, hey, I didn't like get outside and make a whole lot of other friends in Hollow, so I didn't really have anybody to invite. I think it'd be very different if she did this year. Zeta would be in it for sure. Let's see. Zeta and Anya, probably. And... Let's see. Anybody else? I'm trying to think of anybody else in EN. She'd probably pull Callie in. Callie would do that if she was available. But yeah, I feel kind of bad for her. Oh, one thing I do want to do, I want to watch the end of Zen's subathon. Hold on, I want to see how much time she has left. Because she's officially ending it today and she has a countdown on the screen. Okay, she's got an hour 46. Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I definitely want to see the end of that. Looks like she's going to be ending at midnight. Okay. Yeah, she's leaving VStojo. That's a big deal. I caught the beginning of her stream today, and I think a lot of people were in there kind of saying what they've been thinking for a while, like, hey, yo, you're leaving VStojo. That's a big deal. Like, you're one of the founding members. That's nothing to shake a stick at. One thing I have noticed, especially with, like, Giga leaving, there wasn't any, like, big send-off. It was just like, hey, I'm leaving. And yeah, she left at the end of the month. And people asked Zen about, like, hey, are you gonna do, like, any big, like, send-off? And she was like, I think everyone's gonna be busy that day. So, I don't know. I think the people in VShojo, except for, like, people who are actually friends, have kind of maybe drifted apart a little bit. Mouse especially. Mouse especially has kind of blown up in the last year or so more than ever, and she's getting like all these opportunities to hanging out with all these people outside, so she's like constantly busy with stuff, so which, I mean, is a good thing, but it's not like it was. That's for sure. I think I started watching them all like right about where their peak was. Right about where their peak was. And honestly, I'm glad for that. But I think the cracks really started to form when Fruit kind of went on hiatus. She is still on hiatus. I genuinely don't know if we'll ever see her again. I mean, she got doxxed to hell and back, and in trying to tell her side of the story about what happened, it kind of just made the whole thing worse. I don't think there was... I think everyone in that situation's messed up. She was messed up, stuff that happened to her was messed up, and there was just no good decisions that were made on any side, so... She has her faults. The guy she married had his faults for sure. But people always want to blame one side or the other. But two things can be true. She could have cheated on him, and he could have done all the things that she said he did as well. Those both can be true. Yeah. But fruit... And I also generally don't know if we're going to see Mumei or Shachi again. I didn't really realize how good of... I feel bad. I didn't really realize how good of a singer she was until she was gone. Because the little, like... the little things that she has posted of her singing have been... they've been fantastic to listen to. I think she's just letting her voice heal, letting it rest, and making a little music here and there when it suits her fancy. Maybe we'll see her one day, but I don't know, she might be the first who genuinely just moves on. I thought Mint was going to do that. Remember when she graduated the first time and she said that she was going to go to school, and then I found her Twitter account, she actually really was going to school. I was like, I don't know if she's coming back, guys. I was proven wrong there. But I know Mumei really was going to school the entire time she was in Hollow. I don't know if she was just working on her degree, or if she was getting like a doctorate or something. I don't know. Or if she was in medical school. Who knows? But maybe she's just gonna finish that up and put this part of her life behind her. And do a bit like Sana/Nami did, where they'll just pop up every once in a while when they have time and let us know that they're doing alright. Although it's become kind of clear that she definitely graduated because she got pregnant. She definitely graduated because she got pregnant. Because she tweets about her kids and she's had multiple by this point, so yeah. People kind of suspected that at the time, and it's pretty obvious now. Pretty obvious now. But honestly, she's living her best life. And it's probably pretty special for her to know that even though she was in Hollow for such a short amount of time, people still loved her a lot. It's better for it to be short and sweet than to not happen at all. It would have been cool if she had been there for longer, but I think I probably would have liked her. But Life had different plans for her. That's alright. That's okay. Life's weird. Life's weird. Oh, hello. Someone's actually watching me. Oh my god. Someone else besides me? Hello, hello. I am putting some finishing touches on a extremely imperfect little comic that I made just for fun. I don't know if you watch VTubers, but if you do, got more Calliope and Gigi Murrin in it. But little Chibi's versions. It's supposed to be Mori. Ah, they left. Gotta filter them. At least they want a chat bot. I'll take that. Let's see, did I get everything on this page? Yeah. I think I'll get started on the next page. I'm probably gonna get going here in a bit. Because I want to watch the end of Zen Subathon. Oh wait, panel lines, no. I don't want those to be in here. Those to be up here. Yeah, I think we're about to hit, no, we're not about to hit, we are in a great time of change in the VTubing field. I think the old guard is starting to kind of shuffle out and the new guard is starting to come in. The old guard being those who have been around since like before 2020. They're either coming into their own, but now we got the next ones that are coming up. And I think we're going to see like a big consolidation, especially in the corpo side. There's always like a billion little like tiny corpos that rise and fall. I feel like there's like 28 that fell last year. I feel like we're going to see like a huge consolidation of that around like the few that can actually make it. Like the very few that can actually make it. And let's see. I think people were thinking that, especially with a bunch of like, with like Fauna and Gura and Mume and Ame all leaving Hollow, that like, and even with like Selene and Pomu as well, like there's a switch back from being like corpo to indie, but I don't think that's the case. I think it's just, I think that people are just finally figuring out like, hey, this is really what it takes to be a corpo VTuber. And the people who are all down for that and extremely talented are heading that way. And the people who that might not quite be their jam aren't anymore. Whereas before it was like the only way is to become corporal, but that's just not true anymore. It's definitely one of the fastest ways, but it's not true anymore. Let's see. I think we're gonna see those. I think we're gonna see. There probably is gonna be some people that's gonna be leaving, but we're probably gonna see like a refining of the talents that are in there. If that makes sense. Where they're gonna bring people in that know what the vision is, know what they're there for, and it lines up with what the company wants to do. And the people who aren't as down for that aren't gonna try out as often because they can see it now. And or they're just not gonna get hired. And the people who it's not quite the life for them are gonna leave even if they've been there for a long time. Yeah. I'm a bit worried about VShojo. Like 2024 was a big year for them. That was a big year for them. That was a year where they like really came up and people were like, apparently people really did not like them before that, but Mouse popped off. They brought in Henya as well as a bunch of other people. And especially towards the end of 2023, and then Amelie later, once they started like their JP, I feel like they're also like hitting a plateau, and there's going to be some shakeups. I do know that they're going to be bringing in some new talents here soon. I hope that kind of revitalizes them, because I know Mata getting fired, Giga leaving, and Zen leaving too. And then there's like some internal structures with there's a bunch of people that left in the background, like Mountain Dew, one of the founders, left as well. So all signs point to their things not being the most stable inside. But then again, the people who are leaving, like Giga was very insistent, like, hey, this is just purely business. Like, I have things set up where I can do this on my own now. I don't feel like I was getting what I needed out of VShojo anymore, so I'm moving on. And Zen made it pretty clear too. Are you winning, Zen? Hey, Arthropod Wizard. There you go. I am. I'm not taking my art as seriously as I was. And I got into drawing little chibis. And I'm finally doing some line art of just some goofy ideas that are in my head. So, there we go. How you doing? It's been a bit. I'm just line arting this. Oh wow. I suddenly realized that I did not give her a back of her head, so she looks like so this just looks like neck folds instead of a hood. That's gross. Okay. Well, we can fix that. That's why we do line art. And I'm just going over this real quick one more time. I'm gonna add some base color and a little bit of shading. But I wanted this to be quick and messy, even though I've been doing it for like 7 streams. Not that many, but it's been like 5. That's not a joke. I'm vibing. My work schedule this week randomly happened to be goated, so I get the 4th and 5th off. Nice. I had the... Let's see. I'm on bank holidays, so I had the 4th off. And then I had weekends as well, so I got a 3-day weekend. You gotta love it when a federal holiday lines up on a Friday. The 4th and 5th off. That means you can partay a bit tomorrow. You guys usually go out and watch a show somewhere, or do you just do like my family does and just watch all the fireworks your neighbors shoot off? Now our hood no longer looks like neck folds. Which is gross. I think we just end up going to a random park or just drive around looking at them. No real set plan. Yeah. I live in a place where fireworks are legal, so anymore, especially after COVID. Especially after COVID, everyone just started. Actually, when COVID happened, everyone just started buying their own because there wasn't like big shows that were going on. And then everyone realized, hey, wait, this is awesome. We just stay at our house and just shoot off some fireworks, have more fun, and then just watch our neighbors shoot them off. We don't have to like go anywhere, do anything, pack people up, like whatnot. We don't have to fight traffic or whatnot. It was a lot more enjoyable and low-key, so people just kept doing it after. Just kept doing it afterwards, so that's what we do. Just stay home and watch our neighbors. We get a few ourselves, join in every now and then, but nothing too major. Actually, I don't like where this... no, it's fine. I do think we need to move our head back a little bit. Honestly, I just like getting them little things you throw on the ground and that pop and make it a little fast. Yes! Bro, I worked at a fireworks stand for a year. Oh, 1 year. Actually, it was 2020. The year when everyone figured out that it was funny, that was funnier to just shoot them off on your own. And I gotta say, like, the best ones to get are the ones where you can just light them. It's either ones that are like little boxes where you can just like light them and step back and watch like a little display, or like the little novelty ones that you can throw around. Those are the funnest. Oh no, what did I just do? Why did all that get erased? What did I do? I don't even know what I hit. Alright, well, whatever. At least I was able to get it back with one undo. Yeah, fireworks are always about either bang... Let's see. It's not just, you know, quite literally bang for your buck. It's also bang and enjoyment for your buck. So my family, we still have little guys, so we get a bunch of novelty stuff and a couple bigger ones, but not many. And then we just shoot off all the novelties while we're waiting for it to get dark and for dinner and all of that, and shoot off our bigger ones once it gets dark, and just watch our neighbors until my little sister's kids need to go and get to bed. By the way, do you intend on participating in Art Fight this year? Art Fight? I don't know what that is. I've never heard of it before. What is that? My music just changed to a different song. And I'm not vibing with, well, actually, hold on, I might actually be vibing with this. We'll see. Okay, I do like this. We're just gonna leave this as like little nubs. Let's see. Basically, for the month of July, people upload their OCs to ArtFight, and then people on the website draw each other's OCs. Oh, okay, cool. Never heard of that. Actually, hold on, let me look this up right now. ArtFight. ArtFight. ArtFight home. Hello? Let's see. Fossils versus crystals. Artfight.net. How it works. Team 1, Team 2. Artfight is an annual art game that lasts for 1 month beginning every July. During the event, users can register on the site to join in. Each year, participants are split into 2 themed teams, which they are assigned randomly. Players attack people on the opposing team by making art of original characters you choose belonging to the members of. By making art of original characters you choose belonging to members of the other team. You're free to use almost any visual art form. See attack rules, section, blah, blah, blah. Artist that receives the attack can then counter by the attack by drawing that character belonging to the person who attacked them, or pay it forward by attacking a different person on the other team. At the end of the month, the team with the greatest score wins. But remember, while there are point scores, your goal is to celebrate characters with your fellow artists. Artfight is about giving and receiving amazing art. Alright, cool. I've never heard of this before. I'll have to check it out. But you're drawing everybody else's. Ah, no. Yeah. God, it was not down here. I do have some stuff that I'm working on. Some stuff that I'm actually working on for stream. That's a surprise. Yeah, but I'm working on it off stream. So I don't know if I'll be able to do that, but I'll definitely look into it. I have eraser. There we go. Oh wait, hold on. I need this line. Alright. Tail. Let's see. Honestly, mostly just intent on drawing my friend's OC, but I'll probably sneak in a few random ones that I find. Oh, cool. Cool. Also, just as a heads up, I'm probably not going to be going for too much longer. Also, you can't hear the fireworks going off outside, can you? I finally figured out how to put on a noise gate on my microphone. So it's got rid of a lot of annoying background noise, which is nice, but I don't know if it blocks out explosions. I don't know if I showed this whole thing to you. Oh, did I show the whole thing? I made a little comic. It was about... Oh, that's not what I wanted. I want to do just a little bit. It was about... I don't know if you know who Moi Calliope and Gigi Murren are. If not, that's fine. VTubers and streamers. But this is based off of... Let's see. Callie's been working at the place that she's been working, which is called Hololive, for years. Almost 5 years at this point. Actually, I think they might have just passed 5 years. Or they're about to. One of those two. And I remember watching her a while ago and being like, I'm not sure what I'm still doing here, but I think I just want to make sure I'm being like a good senior to the new people that are coming in. And then one of the new people that came in, her name's Gigi, and let's see. I know Boat Goes Binted and that Mori is pink. That's all you need to know. That's it. You're fully up to date. But Gigi's the one that came up with that started Boat Goes Binted. But let's see. One of the things that she's done that's actually been pretty wholesome is that, like, and I saw people commenting on this on Twitter, but they were like, Callie's been like struggling there for a while, but I saw people like being like, I genuinely think Gigi's been really good for her mental health because she just came in and was like, you're one of my favorite people. And just like, started being like really excited to like see her and be around her and hang out with her. And you can just see Callie being just a lot happier and just more energetic on stream lately because of that. And it's been very wholesome, so it kind of inspired me to draw this little comic about it. And yeah. But Gigi's a bit of a menace, so it's got to be in a menace way. A wholesome menace at the very least. But I don't watch a ton of Mori. But Gigi I'll catch, especially her collabs. There's just too many people to watch, so I'm like, alright. There's people that, there's yappers that I know I like to watch more, so I'll prioritize them, and then most of my YouTuber knowledge comes from YouTube Shorts. Yeah. And a lot of the shorts have probably been this one, Gigi. Anymore, oh god, even like the clip compilations recently, she's like half of them. I was watching some the other day, like, oh, the best like Hololive clips of April and May. I was like, oh yeah, half of them were Gigi just being a menace. She was the person, let's see. She joined about almost just a little over a year ago, like a year and like a couple weeks, like a year and like a week ago. But I've not seen much of Gigi, but she seems good. Yep. She joined like just over a year ago. And at first she was the person who people seemed the least excited about. She got like the least subscribers right off the bat. That's changed. That's changed. She just needed a little bit to kind of come into her own. And especially, let me get rid of that bot. And especially after they did like some roleplay stuff and they found out that she was really, really, really good at that. And then at some point, like the part of her that was holding like back like the last 10% just kind of gave up trying, and she just went full gremlin menace. But she's very good about doing it in a way that makes sure that other people are involved and she doesn't have the spotlight, which is very difficult to do. So she has very quickly shifted from being like the, oh, just another like goofy, haha, funny VTuber that joined, to being people's like a new favorite. He was some much needed, let's see, some much needed energy, I will say. Specifically like bring the group together energy. Because I started watching when the group before them, Advent, came out. And they have like a bunch of gamer, they have Bibu, who's a bunch of gamer, who's really just gamer energy. And then like talkers and singers and like that twin group, Fuamoko. But no real like, let's bring everyone together and laugh kind of energy, and that's Gigi. So, and that was some energy that they were missing. Especially with some of the members who had kind of filled that role before, not being as active as they were, or just graduating and leaving. So, yeah. I thought of something. We need a VTuber in D&D. There are some that do that. What is it? Someone who does that pretty regularly is Zorn the Wizard. That's Pathfinder. Superior game in my mind. But one thing that's really hard with that is they're all streamers. So if it's not like one-shots or like a dedicated like weekend to it or something, it's pretty hard to keep people in there. I saw one guy, his name is Crimson Ruse. He's in Hollow Stars, which is the boys' side of Hololive. He tried getting like everybody like in his group to play D&D for a bit, and he was pretty successful for like 3 times. One of the things he did was like, hey, we're just gonna switch people out. Like, this is gonna be a day where we're gonna run it. Whoever is available will show up on that day, and we'll just fit them in, which I think is probably the only way that you really can do it. But even he is only able to do it like 3 times, and it's been like a month or 2 since the last time he did it, because I think just scheduling is so hard, because everyone has their own stuff that they need to be doing. They need to be making their own content and building up their own communities and whatnot. And also scheduling out that far in advance can be difficult because they have no idea if something changes. So yeah. That's one thing I've noticed with streamers, is that scheduling seems to be a nightmare. Especially for anything that meets semi-regularly. Yeah. Kind of is what it is. I think maybe if you're... I think it's mainly true for especially the bigger creators. I think maybe if you're a smaller creator, it might be a little bit easier because your schedule is going to be a little bit more lax. Because you're just like, I'm just doing whatever. But I know a lot of people who do stuff like that and like talk about it, they're only really able to stay consistent with like home games that aren't streamed with like their normal friends. I mean, even scheduling D&D with average folk is difficult. Yeah. As someone who... I'm one of the very, very, very few lucky people. My first ever D&D game, it was Pathfinder 1st edition, but my first ever group with that, we somehow were able to stay consistent enough that we met for 8 years, and we took our characters from level 1 to level 20 and finished the campaign. It took us 8 years, and like the last couple like sessions, we would have like 1 session a month at most, because that was the only time everyone's schedules were lined up. But we got there and we crossed the finish line. And very, 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 very few people can actually say that. But I'm very happy that I can. I'll remember that character forever. Pashazat Hammerhaft. My gnome cleric. And crafter. That's wild. Yeah? It took us a long time. We started, it actually started as our DM. For his birthday one year, he was like, hey, I've been talking forever about running a Pathfinder one-shot. And he chose Pathfinder because Paizo just lets all the rules be put for free online on this on the site that's run by them called the Archives of Nethys. Actually, I think it might be run by like a third party, but it has like the official seal of approval from Paizo. So if a new book or something comes out, they just put all the rules up on that site. So you can just get everything for free if you want. It doesn't have any of like the art or anything that goes with it or whatnot. There's like certain rules, but there's like certain rules to what they can and cannot publish. But if you just want to like use the new content and the rules and stuff, and you don't have the money for the book, you can. It's just there, and you don't have to like go to some sketchy site or pay like D&D Beyond rates or anything like that. So that's why we started with Pathfinder, because it was free. And he was like, hey, I want to run a little like module, like one shot for you guys for my birthday. And we were like, oh cool. We had been friends we had all met at like this like internship program that we had been a part of. But after that we all kind of like gone off our own ways. Me and him, our DM, ended up at the same school for a while, but school got too expensive for him and he couldn't keep it up, so he had to go back home. So I was like, I never see this guy anymore. I never see any of these guys anymore because we all live on different sides of the country. Let's do it. And we got together. We made our characters. I wasn't able to be there for the very first session, but I was able to be there for the second one. I don't remember why I wasn't able to be there for the very first session. But we made our characters and all of that. And then we went through a module called the Dragon's Demand, which I think takes you from level 1 to 5. And it's about like a black dragon that just shows up at a town and makes these demands of them, and you have to go figure out how to stop him and whatnot. And eventually figure out that it's not a black dragon, it's a green dragon that's much weaker and much younger, pretending to be a much more powerful black dragon using illusion magic. Because they have the same type of breath attack, as both green and black dragons have acid breath. So, yeah. Ended up being this whole thing, and he ended up adding like in all this extra stuff that was just homebrew. And at the end of it, he was like, we were all like, hey, can we keep going? And he was like, I mean, yeah, I'd love to keep going. We'll need to take a little bit of time so I can come up with so I can come up with something homebrew. And he took a couple months to kind of figure everything out. In the meantime, we all ran like we all like took turns like running like little one shots and things like that, making characters and whatnot. And then we spent like, that was like the first year, and then we spent the next 7 running through his then from then on out homebrew campaign that he made up, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It all had to do with dealing with this cult dedicated to awakening an outer god, all very Lovecraftian. And trying to stop these machines that cause local populaces to go mad and destroy and kill each other in an attempt to raise, I think it was Nyarlathotep? Yeah, Nyarlathotep. And we eventually took out all of them, made other characters. We had a whole side stories B teams. At one point, we royally fucked up, and the extremely powerful wizard on our team got corrupted by a magical hat that was worn by an extremely powerful pharaoh that was a servant of one of this outer god. But it boosted his intelligence, and he really needed it to try to stave off the stuff that was coming, but he wore it too much, and it corrupted him. And he broke into like the Akashic record, which is the record of all records of all knowledge. Got some forbidden knowledge from there, cast some sort of spell, and it literally teleported a moon-sized planet full of just otherworldly horrors into the atmosphere above our planet, and then it just like send out this giant flesh bridge that attacked to one of the major cities and started pouring out, and horror started pouring out of it. So, needless to say, that was the end game, going up to that planet. And it was actually my character that was, because that guy actually, after that, I think after that happened with that character, he wasn't going to be able to play really that often with us after that. So that was kind of the send-off for that character, making that, and then he was just in a coma from there on out. But my character was the next smartest because I was the team's magical crafter. I'm the one who made all the magical items. Crafting things was my specialty, so it was up to my character to figure out how to send a whole ass planet back to its orbit. And eventually I figured out what I wanted to do for that. Because in the Pathfinder universe, they have a futuristic setting called Starfinder, which is the same universe, but like hundreds of, or if not thousands of years in the future. And it's much more like Star Trek inspired than anything else. But it's still the same universe and still has a lot of the same gods and a lot of the same races, but it's just expanded. But one of the things that's prevalent in there is like how they like do faster than light travel, which is they basically use like plane shift. They'll like punch a hole into like the plane between planes, but in order to do that, they have to rip a chunk out of another outer plane that is the same size as the vehicle that they're using to punch through. It allows it's basically what allows them to enter like the plane between planes so that they can, and then they just travel through that. And I don't know, it's kind of like the actual science for like wormholes. It's kind of based around that, but with like a magical like plane chase. And then actually probably the best way to describe it is, you know how in Minecraft, how traveling through like one block in the nether is like 4 blocks in the overworld. So if you ever want to go somewhere quickly, you like go into the Nether and you travel through there and then you leave through another gate. It's the same concept, but just on like a cosmic scale. So that's how they achieve faster than light travel, pretty much. I eventually found out that my character was the accidental progenitor of that, because he figured out, hey, I'm not teleporting this planet back. I don't need to teleport this planet back. I just need to move it back. And who says that it has to stay in our realm the entire time? So, what I did was, at some point we were attacked by a giant, like, steam dragon, and my character's a clockwork dragon, and my character's specialty was clockwork. So I retrofitted this dragon that we were attacked by in order to act as like a beacon, like the very, very first, like I forget what they term they used in the Starfinder, but like essentially like warp drive, like planar warp drive, and it attached the planet, pulled it into that realm between realms, and then basically it plane shifted it into that realm between realms, and then plane shifted it back to where it was supposed to be in our solar system, and it fucking worked. Oh. So, and then my character's little send-off was taking that knowledge of how to do that from his head, because he knew it was extremely dangerous, and if someone could figure out how to do that to an entire planet once, someone can figure out how to do it again and bring everything back, and then all of a sudden everything started again. So my character's epilogue was him magically removing that from his head and putting it into like the memory cores of one of his little clockwork servants, and then who was intended to outlive him. And then like hundreds of years later, the like start of like the Starfinder universe is some sort of great cataclysm happens. No one knows what, because the gods literally deleted all records of it and all knowledge of it and all memory of it. But for some reason, like in order to fix everything that happened, 3 gods joined together. Gods of like technology, clockwork, and like artificial intelligence joined together into one, and bestowed upon like all the sentient races the knowledge of how to like do like that planar warp travel. So some sort of cataclysm happened, but at the same time, everybody got warp drives, essentially, and it all kind of culminated in my little robot that I created like hundreds of years later, way outlived me, meeting with these gods and giving them this knowledge from that little like memory bead that I had put in him, to kind of bring everything full circle. And that was a lot of fun. That was the last time I played anything. There was about a 8 or 9 year period where I played so much TTRPGs. I got super burnt out, and by the end of it, I was ready for it to be done, but I'm very happy with how it ended. Anyways, I went way too deep into that explanation. Fond memories. Oh god, we ended about, I want to say it was it 2023 or 2024 that we ended? I want to say it was about like mid 2023. Because about the same time that ended was also about the same time that another game that I was in and another game that I was running all fell apart. And I was actually pretty thankful at the time because I was super burnt out. But anyways, I went way off on a tangent. But I have something that I need to do. One of my favorite streamers is having a subathon right now, and it's in like the last hour of it. So I'm gonna go watch the last hour of it and see them off. That's fucking cool. I really like intertwining the like medieval era and story with sci-fi. Yeah. And the Pathfinder universe, it's not quite medieval. It's like the world. It's like right at the start of the industrial revolution. So there'll be some areas that are medieval, but the more cosmopolitan you get, the more like you can start to see the beginnings of technology starting to like come out. So you can see the progression there. I could talk for way too long about the Pathfinder world because I spent way too long into it and I love the lore of it. But anyways, I'm gonna call it here so I can go off and watch Zentreya finish out her subathon. In fact, I'm probably going to raid into her. I haven't done a raid in forever. Hold on, I gotta remember how to do this. Raid, Zentreya. Okay. You have a good one too, Arthropod Wizard. Yay! Okay. I'll see you later. Bye. Peace. Now I need to end stream.